We got 2 bids. Good morning, and welcome to our last meeting in August. And my last meeting as chair. Do we have anyone online? Okay. Today we have with us, joining us from Phoenix is a group from the leadership from our County Supervisors Association out of Phoenix. And we'll hear from them a little later. But welcome to, where is Yvonne? Okay, Yvonne's here somewhere. Vanessa Fielder's here, Jacob Emnett, and then their executive director and a great friend of Graham County. All of these are people they work for us, work with us, and Craig Sullivan, executive director. Very, very effective leadership team. We will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I also wanted to welcome back our supervisor, Danny Smith, and thank him for his service, and would like to invite him to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We have 2 items before we hear from our sheriff. One is the approval of the minutes from a regular meeting and work session held 2 weeks ago, August 7th. Are there any corrections or comments?
In here.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting and work session held on August 7th, 2023.
And I will second that.
Thank you, Supervisor and Vice Chairman, soon to be Chairman. Next is the approval of our demands and handwritten warrants. Because I generally will skip over this and make an error because it's buried in the body of the meeting, I'm focused on other things. Hannah has been kind enough to consolidate these oft-forgotten items, and so we'd like to approve the demands and handwritten warrants now. Any discussion, concerns, or comments? No. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve for the approval of demands and handwritten warrants.
Second.
Thank you very much, Supervisors. Now we're ready for our good sheriff, PJ Allred.
Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
Good. Fine, thank you.
Good, good, good. Hey, so I've got one little item here this morning. It's kind of it's a helpful little item for our office, and I think it's good for our little community also. We're asking for, it's for the off-campus college work-study program, where we're asking for 2 students. They'll be able to come to the sheriff's office. They don't get to get into wild situations other than they get to work the front window, which is very interesting for them. I'll tell you, last year we had a little gal there that worked with us, and she was as quiet as a mouse when she got there. And when she was all done with our work study and talking with the public, she'd opened up and she'd done very well. And, you know, we saw good progress in her. And she's still doing her college and things and what have you, but it's just a positive thing for the kids, but it's also a great thing for us. it's just one more body in there to kind of help us man some phones and things like that inside of our office.
Thank
So we're
you.
asking for 2 of them.
Okay. And the details are in our agenda packet. Any comments?
No, I just, do they, are these kids enrolled in, going to go to the police academy and we have a chance to get
No.
them later? They're not, they're just
No.
doing the study, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't have too many programs kind of like that, which I would love to visit with you guys if you'd ever like to get some programs cooking that, where we can spend a little money and invest in some kids and all that kind of stuff. I'm all about that. But right now, no. Now some of them, they do have, we've had them through the years where they've thought about it and they would like to see what it's kind of like. And so they get to see more of the inner office workings. We do have some ride-along programs, that if some of the college kids or what have you want to do some ride-alongs where they can sign in some paperwork and go along with our deputies, things like that. The cities have that same program also. If they're wanting to look towards possibly doing something in law enforcement.
Nice.
So they're able to look down that avenue a little bit. It's just that we don't have any like special little academies beforehand type stuff with them or anything like that.
Thank you.
That would cost a little bit, but if someday we would like to do that, I'm all for let's do something like that. We're looking for good youngsters.
Great. Any other comments? I would add that I asked Dustin, I said, well, I don't see a budget item for these, does it come out of the general fund? No, this is funded by Eastern Arizona College, so it's even sweeter. So thank you to EA for sharing those positions with us, and I'll entertain a motion for approval if that's the wishes of the board.
I'll make a motion for approval of fiscal year 23-24 off-campus college work-study agreement for 2 students.
I will second that one.
Okay. Thank you. That's it?
You gonna make it unanimous?
Yes, I will make it.
Okay.
No, that's one. I just got a written note said that my zipper is unzipped. No.
Well, I'd like to have all 3 of you on this very hard subject matter.
No, I'll make that unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
And motion
Appreciate it,
carries.
gentlemen. Thank you so
very
much.
Hi, we have representing Cindy Orr, we have Lori Bourne with some business about some over-the-counter tax deed sales.
Good morning. I come before you this morning to hope that you accept an offer for purchase of 5 over-the-counter tax deed parcels. These were originally offered for sale at open auction. These weren't purchased at auction. They are available on our website over the counter. This amount does meet the amount to cover delinquent taxes, fees, and costs of foreclosure.
Very good. Any comments, concerns?
Just cleaning up our tax rolls and getting back where they need to be.
Yeah, and it's in most of these are in Thunderbird Valley, and that's it's a nice area, kind of rocky, not exactly level, but we're glad that there's outside interest, and it's a healthy sign that people are picking up these for the taxes. And I'd note that this is a little over $10,000 in revenue, and so it was one out-of-town group that have purchased it. So I'll entertain a motion for approval. Anything else to add?
No.
Okay. And it's your recommendation?
That we accept the offers.
Yes, yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion for approval of offer for purchase of 5 over-the-counter tax deed sales parcels.
Second.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now our county engineer, Michael Bryce.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dustin, asking for an approval of agreement with Jackson Palmer. He's a student at EA, and so we'll be would employ him part-time to add assistance to our office in accomplishing our work there. He has some experience, but not a lot.
Good. Well, I mean, the fact that we have been blessed with a couple of I guess you could call them earmarks or projects. We were funded for additional work. It's, we're going to need the help. So that's great that you could find a talent and help develop some talent. So, and I would note, Board, just before the meeting, the packet indicates it's a $27 an hour at will contract, and it's actually $21 an hour. So, any other discussion?
None here. I'll make a motion to approve the consulting agreement with Jackson Palmer for surveying and drafting services.
I'll second that.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. That is
Thank
approved.
you.
Thank you. Next we have from our courts and probation, Josh Halverson.
Good morning. So I have a couple of items today. The first is to request approval of an additional adult probation officer position funded by the Arizona Supreme Court. So in December of '22, so last December, the Arizona Supreme Court and the Administrative Office of the Court identified, based on our caseloads and our need, that we needed an additional position and actually funded it. The challenge has been that we had other vacancies that we were working to fill at that time and still have been working to fill. And we are now to the point where we are filling those, as well as would be able to fill this vacancy of the additional position. So we wanted to get official approval of the board to have that position as part of our department. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. And thank you for your work.
I think it's great that we can finally have another probation officer. You guys are busy over there and always use extra help, so I'm in full support of that. No comment? Make a motion to approve additional adult probation officer position funded by Arizona Supreme Court.
I'll second it.
And I'll make that unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item is the approval of a limited service agreement with Advanced Forensic Assessments for adult probation for fiscal year FY 23-24. Would have probably submitted this in June or July. It just took a little bit to get it back, but this is just a regular annual contract with our polygraph examiner, and just to continue the services they provide. They've been very good. Doesn't change any terms or costs. It's just to continue that service.
Very good. I would note that I was looking at this fee schedule, and I don't know what's typical. I'm guessing this is pretty typical, but especially with the travel. But $300, we don't have a polygraph examiner here in Graham County. If anyone wants to become a polygraph examiner, there's an opportunity for $300 per exam and re-exam. So here's a call for a notice of opportunity for going to school. But in the meantime, we'll support this good gentleman.
Thank you.
And renew his contract. Any other discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the limited service agreement with Advanced Forensic Assessment for adult probation for 23-24.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the last item is we are requesting approval of a limited service agreement with Mark Smith, LMFT. So Mark is the counselor that currently works with our juvenile probation department. And the reason we are looking at creating this is he has given his notice that he's going to be taking employment elsewhere. We will certainly miss him greatly, as he has served our department and the county for almost 9 years and has done a great job, and we wish him much success in the next. But as we are working to recruit and fill, which we have already begun that process, we wanted to enter this agreement so that he could help provide some of the counseling services with juvenile court, particularly with our juvenile drug court program, until the position is filled.
Very good. I'm personally pleased that Mark would provide that bridge for us. And any other discussion?
Yeah,
concerns?
Just want to say we really thank Mark for his services and the job he did. He always did an outstanding job. He'll sorely be missed, that's for sure. He did say that he would stay, if I read the packet right, until it is filled, correct?
Yeah, so we're doing this for a period of just over 6 months until February. That way, it gives us some leeway depending on how challenging it may prove to fill the position. So if we fill it sooner, then we will discontinue this or at least go till February if needed.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve the limited service agreement with Mark Smith, LMFT, to continue serving juvenile drug court program until the vacancy of the juvenile probation counselor position is filled.
I'll second that.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much, Josh. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next we have our county manager, Dustin, who will has a couple items of business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. This first item is an agreement with Cost Evaluation Services, a gentleman named Glenn Halverson, lives up in Oregon. We've had this contract with him since 2009, and what we pay him to do is do an indirect cost allocation for our general fund. So he basically looks at all the special revenue funds that we have in the county, which includes our 4 rural fire districts, the highway department, the jail district, and the flood control district, and then looks at our administrative costs to support those special revenue funds. And then he comes up with an allocation plan, basically of what we charge those special revenue funds to provide administrative services, such as human resources, finance, and other support. He charges us $7,000 a year. That's been the fee for several years, and he does a very good job. We see a lot of value at keeping this with a third party and not in-house, and we've been very satisfied with his work since 2009 and would like to continue that contract, and we recommend the approval of this agreement.
Thank you. And I would note that Glenn Halverson is not related to, that he knows of, to Josh Halverson. Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve approval of amended agreement with Cost Evaluation Services, Glenn Halverson, for $7,000 for prepping of the OMB Circular A-87, that full cost allocation plan for FY 24-25 based on FYE June 30th, 2023.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. And your next item?
Mr. Chairman, this next item is the approval of to purchase property located at 821 West Thatcher Boulevard. This property is adjacent to this property. It's a property we've had our eye on for several years to purchase as an option for future expansion of our facilities. We've received an appraisal on the property, and the agreement is for that exact appraisal cost. Through the assessor's office, we've done our own appraisal of the property, which is in line with that third-party appraisal as well. So with that, I recommend approval of an escrow agreement that's in your packet to purchase a property located at 821 West Thatcher Boulevard.
Thank you. There's lots of good things to be said about this. We will, if this is approved, we'll wait until after escrow closes, and then we'll probably make a more detailed announcement. I'll entertain a motion either way on this property purchase.
Exciting times. I'll make a motion to approve of an escrow agreement to purchase property located at 821 West Thatcher Boulevard, Safford, Arizona.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous. Thank you very much. And thanks for the legwork, Dustin, that you've done, and the interactions with the family and the estate, and the your success at getting to where we're at right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Last item of business.
Last item of business is a date we've had on the calendar for several months, and this is the last leg of adopting our final budget, and it's the approval to set tax rates for all taxing authorities within Graham County. As you know, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we don't come up with these tax rates for the school districts and the towns and the city and the fire districts and the schools and everyone, but we are statutorily required to adopt the rates that they provide to us. So with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I will read these tax rates into the record.
Okay, that's just the taxing authority tax rates, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good. And that's based, and if there's no secondary rate, you can skip that, I guess, and just list those that have a secondary rate.
Sounds good.
And that'll save us a few moments.
Okay. County of Graham, 2.2179 primary, rural fire district assistance, 0.0528 secondary. County education equalization, 0. County flood control district, 0.1200 as a secondary. Eastern Arizona College, 2.6047 as a primary. City of Safford, 0.5135 as a primary. Town of Thatcher, 0. Town of Pima, 0.1155 as a primary. Safford Rural Fire District, 1.4 as a secondary. Pima Rural Fire District, 1.25 as a secondary. Fort Thomas Rural Fire District, 1.3314 as a secondary. Central Jackson Heights Rural Fire District, 0.35 as a secondary. Safford Unified School District, primary 3.6344, secondary 0.2612. Thatcher Unified School District, 3.4129 as the primary. Solomon School District, 2.2109 as primary. Solomon School District Local Aid for Common Schools, 1.6549. Pima Unified School District, 4.0911. Fort Thomas Unified School District, 0. Klondike School District, 0.8383 as the primary. Minimum school tax Klondike School District, 9 as the primary, 1.6549. Bonita School District, primary 6.0394. Gila Institute for Technology, secondary is 0.0500. And as the taxing authority, Safford School District, primary 8.4570 and secondary 0.4840.
And these are the maximum rates, is that correct?
So these are in your actual district, what you'd
Right.
pay. So whatever districts, taxing authorities are combined in that tax
Okay, so
code
this
district.
is, okay, good for everyone to know. So this is the combined rate. Okay.
Safford School, City of Safford, 8.9705 primary, secondary 0.4840. Safford School, Safford Rural Fire District, primary 8.4570, secondary 1.8840. Thatcher School, primary 8.2355, secondary 0.2228. Thatcher School, Town of Thatcher, primary 8.2355, secondary 0.2228. Thatcher School, Central Jackson Heights Rural Fire District, primary 8.2355, secondary 0.5728. Thatcher School, Safford City, primary 8.749, secondary 0.2228. Thatcher School, Safford Rural Fire District, 8.2355, primary, secondary 1.6228. Thatcher School, Pima Rural Fire District, 8.2355, primary 1.4728, secondary. Solomon School, 8.6884, primary 0.2228, secondary. Solomon School, City of Safford, 9.2019, primary 0.2228, secondary. Solomon School, Safford Rural Fire District, 8.6884, primary 1.6228, secondary. Pima School, 8.9137, primary 0.2228, secondary. Pima School, Town of Pima, 9.0292, primary 0.2228, secondary. Pima School, Central Jackson Heights Rural Fire District, 8.9137, primary 0.5728, secondary. Pima School, Fort Thomas Rural Fire District, 8.9137, primary 1.5542, secondary. Pima School, Pima Rural Fire District, 8.9137, primary 1.4728, secondary. Fort Thomas School, 4.8226, primary 0.2228, secondary. Fort Thomas School, Fort Thomas Rural Fire District, 4.8226, primary 1.5542, secondary. Fort Thomas School, Pima Rural Fire District, 4.8226, primary 1.4728, secondary. Klondike School, 7.3158, primary 0.1728, secondary. Bonita School, 10.8620 primary, .1728 secondary, and Gila Valley Irrigation District, $20 per acre.
Thank you. If anyone from the public is interested or staff, you can pick this up. They'll print a copy at our Board of Supervisors office as the tax rates. Okay, any discussion?
Thank you, Dustin, for enduring all that reading.
Yeah.
That's tough. Appreciate it. Make a motion to approve to set tax rate for all taxing authorities within Graham County for 2023-24.
I'll second it.
And I'll go ahead and approve it, but with the notation that Graham County only sets for Graham County and our flood control district, and all these other entities set their own tax rates. And so we, even though we are responsible for publishing these and approving them, they're certainly not anything that we're not we don't have the oversight other than just we collect taxes for them. So I'll make that unanimous, and that motion carries. Okay. Next opportunity for the public to make a comment. You got a 3-minute window typically. We could go a little longer. Is there anyone online who's indicated? Have you received any requests to speak? Okay. Anyone would like to address the board? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to opening a bid for 2 4-wheel drive pickup trucks for the sheriff's office. If you'll just go ahead and open that up and then hand it back over, we'll.
While they're opening those, Mr. Chairman, I'll just note that these public safety vehicles were funded through a congressional directed spending request that we made to Senator Mark Kelly's office last year. And through the congressional budget, they were approved through that request.
Okay. We have 2 local bidders. We have Kempton's and Horn Freedom Ford.
This first bid from Kempton's is a total bid of $51,648, and that's per vehicle.
These are crew cab 4-wheel drive V8 vehicles.
And the next bid is from Horn Freedom Ford, and their bid is $53,521.24.
Very good. Is there a
I'm sorry, a total of, they do have that combined, a total of $107,042.48.
and do they have listed when they can supply those? Is there a delayed delivery indicated on either of those?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, good point. For Kempton's, they have an estimated delivery of December. And for Ford, they did not include that.
Very good. Any Kempton's total? 51,000 and change.
Yes, yeah, did you ask a question?
Yeah, he asked.
Oh, I'm
Kempton's
sorry.
total was.
Kempton's was $51,648 per vehicle.
Very good. Well, we don't make the approve and accept the bids in this meeting, but what we do is ask our staff to review. We make a motion to ask our staff to review these bids for conformity, and once that is determined, then to award it to the lowest responsible bidder.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to turn these over to staff to review for conformity of the lowest bidder.
I'll second that.
Very good. Thank you very much, and I'll make that unanimous. Okay, next item is I have served almost 16 months, and This is a practice of the board. It doesn't necessarily, this is not the way all boards do this, but we feel like we're equals, and there's an opportunity to learn and to lead and provide and place your own, insert your own personality into your chairmanship. And so it has been proposed, and it's been there's a precedent for having the chairman rotate every 16 months, so that over a 4-year period, you get to serve one time. And the rotation has been that I was preceded by Chairman Smith, and then I've served, and then John Howard is next in the rotation, and there's an opportunity for a discussion, and if there's no discussion, or if the discussion is positive, a motion to make this kind of an approval. Any discussion? Good.
I think it's great that John's next in line.
Well, this is a great opportunity for you to be mentored and to learn from all of his successes and the occasional, less frequent than mine, occasional mistakes. So, yeah, I feel the same way. I'm really pleased, and I learned so much from Danny, and then also from Jim Palmer, that I didn't feel ready, but I certainly had lots of good coaching and mentoring. So I'll go ahead and step out of my chairman's position, and rather than having John nominate himself, I'll go ahead and make I'll move that we have John serve as our Chairman Howard be our next board chairman. Vice Chairman Howard be the next chairman of the Board of Supervisors for the rest of his term. This term.
I'll second it.
Do I have to make that unanimous?
You don't have to, but you've already been outvoted.
Okay, I'll make it unanimous.
Okay, so that motion carries. Thank you very much. And
Mr. Chairman, we need a vice chairman as well.
okay, well, that is speaking of rotation. Then there's I would move that we go ahead and have Clay Mack become the vice chairman as a very, very young vice chairman, and that he serve as vice chairman in place of the chairman when he's gone, and that's my motion.
I will second that. Things are moving fast for you, Clay.
And any discussion? Okay.
You'll make it unanimous.
I'll make it unanimous.
Thank you very much, Dustin. And so we have a chairman and vice chairman, and they will, there's not a swearing in process. So I'll just pass the gavel for our next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay, next, the reason we are all here. Is County Supervisors Association is they'll present in our work session. You're welcome to attend that. But County Supervisors Association is this. If you've ever been to Phoenix, they're like a block away from the Capitol. They have this really nice building. They the nicest staff. They host. We all pay. Of course, we pay dues. It's not like they've done all this for free. We pay dues, but in turn, they are very effective lobbyists, and they play great offense in proposing legislation, and they play even better defense in keeping painful or damaging legislation. And they have the ears they have personal relationships with the. Very positive relationships with all the legislators, both Democrat, Republican, and independents. Very effective, probably the most effective association in the state as far as effectiveness with the legislature and other organizations. Danny Smith has been part of their executive committee. And I think he's currently second vice president. and has served very well, and it's been he's served CSA, and CSA has served him, and Danny has been at numerous in this last year, the previous year even more so. He would I'd say, hey, I didn't see you yesterday in the office. Oh yeah, I drove to Phoenix and testified. He'd just be gone 2 or 3 days just on his own to go down and help push legislation or prevent legislation. And tremendous. And everyone knows how effective he is with people. And there's. With the exception of people who've run against him, I don't know anyone who doesn't like him. So, anyway, CSA, that's a long preface for CSA's presentation. They're going to make a presentation in honor of Danny and his work, his legacy. So we'll turn the time over to Craig Smith, who's the executive director.
Sullivan.
Craig Sullivan. Thanks, Craig. Yes, that'd be fine. We have a Craig Smith. We used to have Craig Smith, so that makes it double tough.
Yeah, no worries at all, Mr. Chairman. And thanks to you, Mr. Chairman, and members of this board for giving me the opportunity to be here today. As you described, Mr. Chairman, we are an intergovernmental office serving the 15 counties, and we're very fortunate to have supervisors from across the state who serve as our governing board. They provide us direction. They tell us how we can best serve them. And this county has been very active in our organization as long as I've been doing it, which has been many years now. And it's been our pleasure to work for all of you here in this county and to serve your interests here locally and that of your constituents. We did want to be here, and I've got some of my team here, Yvonne and Jacob and Vanessa, to honor and thank Danny for serving over the last many years. Danny became a supervisor and came on our board in 2012. And we've really enjoyed having him engaged with us over that time period because he really helped make us a better organization, brought his sense of humor and outstanding people skills to our organization, and we applied that in our engagement with the legislature. Danny, we were disappointed that we didn't have an opportunity to visit with you in May with all of your colleagues down in Phoenix, but we know that you were very busy. And so I wanted to be here today to extend the appreciation of your colleagues from all of the other counties. They enjoyed having you so much in our board meetings. I know Supervisor Whiting in particular, who wanted to be here today but had a conflict, appreciated your sense of humor in our executive committee meetings and your collegiality with him and all of your colleagues. But it's really been a pleasure to serve with you. And the only demerit you get is that you never actually made it up the full food chain of command to chair our meetings. We were really looking forward to when you would be the president of the association, because I thought that was going to be one of the funner years we've had. So we're going to miss having that opportunity. And I know it's the only thing you regret about leaving county service. But with that, Danny, if you'd come up here, I just want to share a small token of our appreciation from your colleagues. But we did bring with us here today a plaque signed by President Whiting to Supervisor Danny Smith. It is a Distinguished Service Award that notes our appreciation for your outstanding service and exemplary contribution during your tenure as a member of the County Supervisors Association of Arizona Board of Directors. And so, Danny, thank you. We're very grateful for your service, and we look forward to your friendship going forward.
Thank you.
Let me get this out of the way, Yvonne. Thank you.
Can I just say thanks? Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, hey, thank you so much. If you feel robbed of red punch and cookies back there, my apologies. I don't want any of that. I'm retired, right? But it doesn't feel that way. I had such a great time working with everyone here in this room. And Craig, Craig just gave me an award. Let me say something about County Supervisors Association. Craig and his team have such a reputation. We're now at the point where the legislature reaches out to you and your team for information on how something works, because they don't have the longevity and or the data to know how things work, to make a good decision on things. And so that's the credibility that CSA has, which is really amazing. Yeah, so thank you. Just want to say thanks to my seatmates, and I'm so proud that Clay is taking over in my spot. That makes me feel really, really good. Johnny said that someone told him that I was leaving because I didn't get along with Johnny and Paul, and I want to tell you that is not the case. That's an out and out lie. It's Dustin. I mean, Dustin, with his great hair and personality, it's just hard to stick around and compete with that. And so I wanted to clear the air on that. Anyways, I am so thankful to get to serve. And of course, I want to thank all the voters that voted for me, and you that worked with me. And I had such a great time. I didn't realize how much I would miss you all and miss CSA until I left. So anyways, but I'm having a great time. The Graham County Economic Partnership is something that I'm helping to lead, and I am also working at Mount Graham Regional Medical Center and as a director of community relations. And our hospital is a great asset for our community, and it's a success story, kind of built by our own as a community. It's a community-owned hospital. It's not some esoterical company in Ohio that owns our hospital. It's a locally owned hospital that cares about our community, and I'm glad to be part of their team. And so I'm not going anywhere. I'm still doing all the same things I'm doing. I'm just seeing people in different concentric circles every day. And so thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. And with that, we are going to adjourn the meeting. Can't get any better than that. Meeting's adjourned. We are going to go into a work session with CSA. Thank you.
Here's the letter.
Good job, Paul.
I did forget to go through what we have done on our summer vacations.